Cartoons, cartoons, cartoons. You grew up loving them in theaters and on television. Rekindle your love for Betty Boop, Felix the Cat, Bugs Bunny, Popeye, Superman, and all their animated friends. Make new friends with Bosco, Colonel Bleep, and the Funny Company Gang. The laughter never stops on Comedy MX channels. So return with us now to those golden days of yesteryear.
And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of Danger Below. Far out in space, on a tiny ocean-covered planet, lies the lily pad kingdom of Aqualand. Here, in this beautiful watery world, live the friendly frogmen, curious inhabitants of this curious land. And far below, in the hidden coves of the ocean floor, these little fellows gather the most priceless gems of the galaxies. For only here, in the secret treasure beds of the frogmen, can be found the precious, giant pearls of Aqualand. But no longer is the secret of these rich pearl beds known only to the frogmen. For suddenly, a monstrous shadow looms into view. In sheer terror, the frogmen flee, for this is Octo the Terrible, the blackest, meanest octopus in the sea. Helplessly, the divers watch as this wicked creature carries off load after load of their precious pearls. And so it is that Colonel Bleep, Squeak, and Scratch streak to the aid of the frogmen, arriving just in time to see the thieving culprit scurry off with the last of the gleaming gems. Following closely, the spaceman and his deputies watch amazed as the monster pours the stolen treasure into the hatch of a waiting submarine. Through a porthole of the sub stare the greedy eyes of Dr. Destructo, the mastermind behind this wicked scheme. Little Squeak tosses his lasso with perfect aim and quickly ropes the terrible Octo out of action. But the evil Destructo has already zeroed in on Colonel Bleep. Fire! One! With a mighty roar, a giant torpedo thunders straight for the Colonel. Too late! The spaceman learns his water-soaked atomic energy supply is useless now. Is this the end for Colonel Bleep? How can he possibly escape this terrible fate? But wait! With a mighty leap, Scratch lands astride the deadly missile. In the nick of time, he pulls the rudder, missing the spaceman by only inches. Destructo, now in full retreat, crashes to the surface. But there is no escape. Now dead on his target, Scratch leaps to safety. Not one trace of Destructo's submarine remains. Not one clue to the Doctor's fate. Only the gleaming pearls could be seen as they settled back once more to the treasure beds of Aqualand. The frogmen gave 3 rousing cheers, for they had witnessed proof indeed that a man's evil deeds, like a boomerang, have a way of coming back to him.
And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of
Dangerous Holiday! According to Colonel Bleep, the planets of the universe are filled with exciting sights to see. Squeak and Scratch had already visited such unusual places as Aqualand, the watery world of the curious frogmen, and Robotland, the strange home of the mechanical men who happily work in Great Factory City. But now, the puppet and the caveman were to accompany Bleep for a short holiday on the most wonderful world of all, Bleep's own home planet, Futura, land of the future. Of course, Squeak and Scratch were expecting to have the time of their lives on such an exciting journey. But just as they passed through the rings of Saturn, almost halfway to Futura, our 3 friends were secretly spotted by a bitter enemy, the vicious Black Knight of Pluto. And so it was that when Bleep and his friends at last reached Futura, they were completely unaware that this cowardly villain was close behind them, like an evil black shadow, ready to strike when danger was least expected. Upon arrival, Colonel Bleep sped off to visit his fellow officers at the High Command headquarters, leaving Squeak and Scratch free to enjoy the glorious sights of this beautiful land. Their tour started on a vertical car which carried them straight to the top of the tallest Futurian skyscraper. But up ahead, the wicked knight was already prepared to send our sightseeing friends plunging to their doom. Just in time. The space deputies stepped to safety, quite unaware of their narrow escape. Once more, the evil knight strikes. And once again, Squeak and Scratch are unknowingly saved. An exciting ride on a speedy sky train turns out to be wonderful fun, in spite of the culprit's devilish scheme to send them spinning down to their death. Yes, to unsuspecting Squeak and Scratch, these Futurian rides were even more fun than the roller coaster back home. The Black Knight shook with rage. But then, suddenly, he saw one more chance. For now, our friends had hopped aboard a steer-it-yourself Skyway scooter. The tiny car rolled smoothly along, but just as the puppet and caveman settled back to relax, away they streak. Down they speed as fast as light, then up to a dizzy height. Over, then under, and back again. The speedometer reads 410. The Black Knight roars with laughter. For now he is sure Squeak and Scratch are doomed. Look! now here they come again. But wait! The runaway car is empty. It was empty. For now, the wicked knight is caught in his own trap. Away he goes. 1,000,000 miles beyond the Milky Way. But what has happened to Squeak and Scratch? Well, believe it or not, when the car looped the loop, they were gently transferred to a landing elevator. And there Colonel Bleep was waiting with a Futurian 4-flavor ice cream surprise for each of them. Yes, both Squeak and Scratch agreed that although Futurian ways of travel sometimes seem a trifle strange, the space deputies had never had a more wonderful time. And so it was that the cowardly Black Knight's destruction had turned into a day of fun for Squeak and Scratch.
And now, stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of the Earth from outer space. Colonel Bleep, Squeak, and Scratch are on their way to outer space for a moon's eye view of our planet, Earth. Here, hundreds of miles above the Earth, they see our planet as a huge round ball speeding through space in its endless orbit around the sun. The Earth completes a full circle around the sun every 364¼ days, which is exactly 1 year by our calendar. And as it moves, it also spins completely around, once every 24 hours, 1 full day by our clock. This means only half of the Earth faces the brilliance of the sun at a time, that side being aglow with daylight. But as that side turns from the sun, the daylight fades into the darkness we call night. Billions of years ago, the Earth was probably blazing hot, like the sun. But through the ages, its surface has gradually cooled to form the rock, soil, and salty oceans we know and live upon today. But if Bleep and his friends were to remove a slice from our Earth, like a piece of melon, inside they would discover a center of fiery, molten rock. Yes, no matter how you look at it, from the ground or from deep in outer space, this Earth of ours is an exciting place for Bleep, Squeak, and Scratch to investigate. But it can be even more exciting close up. So now the spaceman dives earthward for a closer look at one of the cities in which the people of this planet work, live, and play. As Colonel Bleep, Squeak, and Scratch peeked down through the clouds, they found the city of New Orleans, Louisiana, cradled within the wide sweeping curves of the mighty Mississippi River. Today, the romantic riverboats of yesteryear have been replaced by modern barges and swift ocean-going freighters, which have made New Orleans the second largest United States port. Colonel Bleep admired the towering buildings in the business district, and Scratch was fascinated by the colorful flags of the International Trade Mart building. Meanwhile, Squeak had spotted Canal Street, the widest street in the nation, and it seemed the whole city was aglow with excitement. This was the season of the Mardi Gras, that festive celebration that attracts thousands to New Orleans every spring. Bleep, Squeak, and Scratch landed atop one of the most beautiful floats in the parade, and the people cheered wildly because Bleep and his friends looked just like 3 happy paraders, disguised in weird costumes of the past, present, and future. The parade took them through the quaint French Quarter, past colorful gardens, massive grilled gates, ornamental wrought iron balconies, antiquated street lamps, and Basin Street, birthplace of Dixieland jazz. But for Scratch, the best thing of all was sampling the chef's prize Creole cooking in the world-famous New Orleans restaurant. Yes, New Orleans is a picturesque and exciting city for bleat, squeak, and scratch.